Prepare for a jump scare.
Oh my gosh, she's bald!
What in the anti-bush propaganda is this? Now, I know I just did a video about full bush and bikini, and Vogue just released this article, so let's get into a few things. Starting with the Vogue article and then getting into this. So Vogue's commentary on the full bush and bikini trend, and if you don't know what that trend is, you can go ahead and watch this video, brought up something interesting from Margiela's spring 2024 couture fashion show last year. Models rocked pubic hair. Actually, they wore Merkins, which is fake pubic hair, basically a toupee for your tookie. And these historically have been around since the 15th century for various reasons, including like theatrical performances when men were the only ones who were allowed to be in theater, and so they wore Merkins when they were pretending to be women in shows, for sex workers to cover up signs of syphilis, which like at that point you like shouldn't be working, but like everyone had syphilis, I guess. And they were even worn as status symbols because there was a time when maintaining your pubes in a lovely, bushy, but well-kept fashion was a sign of wealth. If that were the case, I'd be a billionaire, baby. So Margiela made their models wear Merkins, and it was beautiful. Seeing pubic hair in fashion in this way, it was just hair sewn onto the garment, I think shows how much of a trend it is really seen as. That it's more of an idea, it's more of a costume. But my culture is not your costume. I feel like if you're going to commit, just commit. Throw it out. But going back, this is just another way of making women's bodies a trend. Now, I think there are positives to seeing pubic hair displayed in this fashion and in the full bush and bikini trend. Like, we can now see what is normal and natural on bodies and not feel shame for it growing there as it naturally does. Because so much of society shames women for having hair down there. And of course, exposure and seeing these representation is so important for eradicating any shame around it. A lot of people, especially men, have been influenced by porn and media and think that it just needs to be bald on a woman. Whether they feel like it looks better or feels better or is more hygienic. And if you do think that, then you should check out this video here. The widespread promotion of bald nunus has created a negative effect on how both men and women view their bodies. Their natural bodies, I should say. And then we see this, Skims' latest underwear line with a bald nunu. Having a bald nunu isn't the problem. This is not me to shame any of my girlies watching this who love to rock their bald nunu. I rock my pubes for my own personal, aesthetic, hygienic, and personal reasons. And what you do with yours is your choice as long as you're informed about why and where your desire is coming from and whether it's actually your desire to shave it all off or a conditioned desire. Anyways, the reason why this feels so weird and alien is because no one's hairless hoo-ha actually looks like this, except Barbie and Ken, which as a reminder, they are not humans. They are dolls.
I'm a human being.
I'm worried people see this and wonder why theirs doesn't look like that. Some people really do have fine, light hair, or maybe have gone through processes of electrolysis or whatever to look really smooth and similar to that. But the vast majority of people have a little stubble, have a little razor burn, maybe an ingrown hair, a little something after they groom their goo-goos. Having irritation and rashes after hair removal doesn't have to be the norm. I shave a little bit on the sides to give myself a nice, perfect little rectangular George W. Bush. And when I shave, I do use certain products to help smooth and brighten the area and prevent like ingrowns and rashes. I'll link those below, and maybe I'll even do a video on it if you're curious on my shaving routine. But even then, while products certainly help, bodies are still bodies. The things on our bodies that make them bodies aren't going to go away completely. And I'm sorry, but this does not look like a body.
What is that?
A few reasons why this is. One, it's Kim Kardashian's brain and she never wants her body to look like an actual body. Two, censorship. I guarantee if they allowed hair or stubble on their ads, it would not have been approved. It would have violated some sort of adult nudity, sexual activity guideline. I've seen this happen with my own underwear brand, Cherri. I remember when I first listed my products on TikTok Shop, I had to edit them and remove hair and stubble because that was triggering the guidelines as something inappropriate. On my actual website directly, I leave the models unedited, but it's kind of funny and a little bit confusing how people in society are so against pubic hair because they think it's gross. But at the same time, it's censored because it's deemed as too schmegdual. Make it make sense. Now, selling underwear and swimwear isn't inherently sexual, but of course, given the nature of the area and what it's covering, it's sensitive. I personally think that people are going to sexualize it anyways, whether it's bald or it's got some hair, and removing the hair and editing it to make it look not human isn't going to stop men in particular from getting harder than a roll of quarters. It's just going to encourage them to be interested in things that are not human. I mean, you can say like, oh, showing this in media doesn't mean that now looking not human is the expectation. Well, it is the current beauty standard. So to say that men and women haven't internalized this because of media representation, patriarchy, this, that, or the other, lacks a little bit of critical thinking. Yes, it's natural to look at hair down there in public or in an ad and do a double take. It's okay to be curious about bodies. Women, myself included, struggle so much with feeling like they are over-sexualized all the time. So I think it can be triggering for a lot of women to maybe allow their pubes to show because they don't want to get extra attention for it, whether it's in the capacity of, oh, that's gross, or people staring in a way that's like, ooh, give it to me, baby. Blah, blah, blah. The lighting keeps changing and it's stressing me out. I've heard from men I've dated in the past that they have a core memories as younger boys seeing women with pubic hair poking out like on the beach or something like that, and feeling like that was their sexual awakening. Okay, I don't think that's weird. I think that's better than looking at this, having your sexual awakening, and then expecting this from people moving forward. I think there's a difference between being curious about bodies when you see them versus not being able to control your urges and acting like a stupid idiot when you see a girl pube. And of course, not all women see pubes on their own person in a positive light, whether that's internalizing male's fantasies, societal expectations, wanting to be attractive for male partners, or lack of education around what's hygienic or what's normal, because 60% of women say they groom their pubes for hygienic reasons. A lot of women take it all off because that's what they like and that's what makes them feel confident. And I do ask, does it make you feel more confident because you aren't worried you'll get an objection from men? Something to think about. I support your choice. Now, I think it's just as important to show a representation of both. All hair, no hair, because all hair and no hair exists in the world. But showing one doesn't mean you're promoting it or encouraging that that's the only thing that should exist. And now you're like, wait, Gabby, that's what you're saying about this SKIMS ad, though. Because unless it is contrived in a specific way that furthers unrealistic beauty standards, it's all how we piece it together, choose how we present those bodies that matters. There is a difference between showing your customer what your product looks like on a body and showing your customer what a product looks like on a body that you feel like is idealistic, and not only encouraging your current customer to adopt if they don't already look that way, but other people who aren't your customer yet to look like. Now, of course, maybe a certain body type is consistent with your customer. You cannot make a brand for everyone. You know, maybe you have a particular brand that caters to petite women, or to plus size women, or to hairy women, or to not hairy women. Do you guys remember when Billy did like the first razor ad that like actually showed hair? That was iconic because yeah, people purchasing razors have hair and they're using those razors to take it off. What a concept. Anyway, even if your brand caters to a specific niche, it is our job as brand owners and business owners and marketers to try in the best way we can in our marketing to show a healthy representation of what we're promoting. Though we can't always control the outcome on how people are going to perceive it, people will internalize one thing or another. And it's our responsibility as consumers to continuously check what we consume, because just because we see it doesn't mean we have to be it. So I can see both sides of the coin. Maybe Skims customer doesn't rock pubic hair, so they're not going to show it in their ads. But already knowing that being bald in this airbrush capacity is already an unrealistic beauty standard, is it still promoting something unhealthy? I want to know your thoughts. Do you think this type of pubic hair censorship is hurting both men and women's perception of women's bodies? What do you think of the bush being back as a trend in 2025, as Vogue has stated? Will we be seeing less of this and more of this? Or has men's ability to sexualize everything ruined the possibility of seeing pubes in the media? Comment, like, and subscribe for more coochie-related content.